Hey, what's up, guys? This is Bradlebees. Welcome to my show. Anyway, I wanted to tell you that I joined this game in session, so that's why it's not starting from the very beginning. Alright, with that in mind, I guess we'll go ahead and start. Today is kind of a serious topic. If you play video games with me, get pretty upset. But I use video games as an outlet to cope with what's going on in my life. And ever since September, I actually started going to counseling, and I've been going every week this semester, and it's really hard for me to talk about my feelings to people. Very few people have ever been there for me, or I've actually thought that I've been able to trust people enough to talk to them about it. But this is what this commentary is for, just kind of getting it all out there, and just want to kind of let you guys know what's going on with Brent right now. Anyway, like I said, I started going to counseling at the end of September, and at the beginning I was just like, man, I got a lot to talk about. This is gonna be good just to get it out, and it was so hard for me to admit that I had something wrong, because I didn't think that I did. But through the course of the next 3 months, it came out in February that I have PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, if you're like me and you know a lot of people in the military, then you know that it's a pretty common disorder to have. With war coming back, there's a lot of traumatic experiences you see over there. But I just never thought that a person could be diagnosed with that unless they were in the military. So it was really overwhelming whenever I heard about it. And I kind of spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I was really kind of confused, because all this time I knew I had an attention problem, because I can remember all the way through high school, and my friends would always be like, Brent, what are you doing? And I'm just like, oh, I just dozed off for like 5 or 10 seconds or whatever. And it was just, it's really hard for me looking back now, knowing that I do have post-traumatic stress disorder, that I was just kind of zoning out, because I was always thinking about what happened to me as a kid. And it's not even about the 2 divorces my mom had, or the divorce my dad had. It's not about that. It's just moving on past everything. And it's really hard to move on whenever you store it all away and you just deny that it happened for so long. But through it all, I survived. That's the best part. I made it, and if I can make it through the experiences now, why let them rule my life now? So right now I'm in counseling every week. I meant, and I have a group every Monday. So I'm getting help, and if my therapist writes my my recommendation to the psychiatrist before summer, I might have a prescription. I don't know. I don't know what I'll need it for, but I'm 100% invested in the process of getting better. And changing after dealing with it by just denying it happened for so long, it isn't right. And I'm ready to change, and that's another reason why I'm making this video. You know, I'm putting it out there. I'm taking a step that I can't undo, and you know, it's really hard for me to talk about it. So if I'm just rambling on, sorry, but not sorry. um, anyway, I guess I'll talk about how this all happened. Anyway, back in February, I got diagnosed that I was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. And that was really hard for me because I never thought that I was actually dealing with anything. You know, I just thought I was going to therapy to vent. And I told a couple of people through text that I was like, yeah, you know, it's really scary to think that there's actually something going on. And there was, you know, it wasn't healthy just pushing it all down and denying that it was happening. You know, I spent so much time in my room just thinking, you know, and I could tell that the people around me noticed. And you know, it wasn't until I cut myself that people actually thought that there was a problem. And I was like, you know, I've had these feelings for years. Just because I didn't cut myself doesn't mean that I didn't feel like shit for so long. And you know, it wasn't until February 28th that I cut myself. And you know, I was just so mad, and I wasn't even depressed at the time. I was just really angry at myself because I couldn't figure out why I was feeling like this. And you know, I just grabbed the closest thing that I could, and I cut myself with a pair of scissors. You know, I wasn't proud of it, and I'd always said I loved myself too much to hurt myself. And you know, it was just really hard for me because I didn't know what I was feeling. I just wanted the answers. And you know, I just wanted the pain to go away. And I thought that by cutting myself it would help. And you know, I know now that it doesn't help, and it's not healthy. But in that moment, I felt like that was the only way I could cope with what was going on. And you know, it was really scary because I'd never thought that I would do it. And you know, I texted a few people and they were like, Brent, this is really serious. And I was like, yeah, I know, that's why I'm reaching out. And so I got a phone call later that night from my mom, and I was just like, whoa, it's midnight, you know, she knows exactly what's going on. And I was just like, I am so glad that she knows. And that brings up another point. Gran and Dad, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you face to face. I don't feel comfortable talking about it. And the people I have told, I'm comfortable with. So don't take it as me not thinking I can trust you. It's just, I can't. I can't let my guard down. And this is the only way that I can do it without, you know, overthinking it and making it a bigger deal than it is. Because for so long I denied that it happened. And I think that's another thing that the cutting kind of helped with. It made it known to other people that I had a problem, and I didn't want it to happen like that. I wanted to tell people on my own terms and not to find out because I hurt myself. But it didn't work out that way. So, you know, you gotta deal with it the way it comes. And a couple of days later, I cut myself again, and I was just so upset because nothing in my life was working at the time. And you know, I was going through a rough patch, and you know, it just felt like so right in the moment. And I felt like if I cut myself, then I wouldn't be able to be hurt from anyone else. I was controlling the situation, and you know, it really kind of sucked to be where I was, because I knew what I was doing was wrong, but it felt so right when I was doing it, I guess, if that makes sense. But that was a nice little tear, by the way. Just pooed on some kids. But anyway, after that second time, I went on YouTube and I was just starting, you know, just wanted to know what was going on, and searched PTSD and trauma and self-harm and cutting, and I came across Katie Morton's YouTube channel, and you know, I just want to give her a shout out because I know she's watching this, and yeah, you've helped me change my life, and I want to say thanks. So anyway, I started watching her videos, and it really taught me a lot about what I was going through, and mental disorders in general. And you know, the stigma around mental disorders in America right now is like, oh, you have an eating disorder, or oh, you cut yourself. Why don't you just stop that? Why don't you just learn how to eat right? Or why don't you not cut yourself? And to those people, I just want to say, we don't want to. It's just something that when we're in that funk, it is the only way that we can get out of it. So, you know, I hope that kind of clears that up for any of you guys that don't know what's going on. But anyway, you know, I went a month and a little over a month without cutting myself again after that second time, and I was so proud of myself, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. You know, I'm getting way better. You know, I'm not having any really bad days where I would just sit in my room all day and not do anything. But you know, that's the part about recovery. You know, it's a process. It's not perfection. So, you know, whenever I was going through all these hard times, I kind of took a step back, but I took 2 steps forward, because, you know, yeah, I cut myself, which is terrible, but I let other people know, and I moved on, and I'm not going to let that define me. And that's the biggest thing, you know, your mental disease thrives in secrecy. So that's another reason why I'm making this, because I'm not afraid anymore. It does not consume me. It will not be me. It will not be my identity. I'm going to be happy because I deserve to be happy. And there's nothing that anyone can say to me. If I can get over my own fears, I can do anything. And 6 months ago, I didn't believe that. And you know, it really kind of sucks looking back, but that's the thing. You can't look back and say what if, because there's so many possibilities about the future that'll make up for any of those things that you wish you could do or wish you could have done in that situation. And you know, the hardest part about everything for me is just knowing that there's someone there for you. And you know, I never had that growing up. My parents were always divorced, and you know, through it all, my mom was always there for me. And I guess that statement was just not a lie, but you know, I felt like no one was there for me. And one of the biggest revelations I've had in therapy was how were people supposed to be there for me if they didn't know anything was going on. And you know, whenever I said that, my therapist was like, oh, I didn't even have to say that, you know, you're so right. And you know, that's the biggest thing I want to get across is I'm not afraid, and I'm ready to change. And I think this commentary's really helped me a lot. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you guys for listening. I know this was long, and I know you guys didn't have to do it. But anyway, if you liked the video, press like. If you favored it, I will love you forever. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Anyway, this has been Brittlebees. I'm out.